uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Big shout out and good morning to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know. WCS is back in the building. 2025 has taken off. 2025 has shown that if you keep faith in the right area, the area that only concerns you the most, the one is going to be conducive and productive to the traction that we need when it comes to boxing media. That's the only focus you should be concerned about. Not everyone else. I told you all. Don't hydrate off stupidity, because you're going to walk around here looking like a drunken fool. You're going to be around here with that cup in your hand, and you're going to be slobbering, slurring your speech and everything, talking about some bullshit. That you heard from one of these creators that's all about clickbaits and putting out false information. Take a deep breath, because this year right here will definitely change the scope of boxing as we know it. Those of you that's old enough, I'm saying over the age of 8. I mean, you got to think about it. Cats say they start boxing around 6 or 7 sometime. So let's just give or take 8 years old. Over 8 years old, they understand what a combination look like, mid drills. Just going through the whole process. My son was in boxing earlier than that, but the reason why I'm saying that is they should be able to comprehend the magnitude of what's potentially taking place this year in 2025. Oh my God. You isn't this something, that you would like to tell your kids that you was alive for 2 of the biggest fights in this modern era before boxing absolutely changes for good? Come on, aren't you excited? You know what I'm saying? Aren't you excited? Shout out to the chat, bro. Shout out to the one and only Big Blunts and Boxing is in the building. What's good with it, Blunts? Salute to you, man. I see you on deck. Don't y'all? I mean, real talk. This year has started off amazing. Why? Because there's so much action that involves with proper traction. That means going forward in a direction where we don't have to sit up here and guess about fantasy. This is reality, yo. No matter what the lies, they couldn't put enough in the reservoir to drown out the hardcore boxing fans of what's truth and what's lies. They didn't have enough. The game has absolutely changed Real talk. Boxing has changed in 2025. It's a lot that's going to be going away for this year, going away in 2025 for good. For good. Shout out to Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good with it, Haynes? Morning, brother. Hope all is well with everyone in the chat and fam. Brother, hope you're doing better than you were yesterday. Arnold Brown on deck. I see you. What's good, man? The Outlaw Pugilist Reloaded is in the building. What's good? Bro, what are you talking about? Are you still blocked? I see your comments, man. I don't know what's going on in your head. You was never blocked by me. Okay, just to put that out there. You was never blocked by me. But if I see in your comments, that means you're able to post. All right? I see your comments on both streams. So, and good morning to you too, Outlaw Pugilist. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you for pulling up to the spot, bro. Appreciate it. Dan in the building. Outlaw up here saying, shit, can anybody see me? Tell me. I want to know. WJ Luckett in the building. Kush the Great is in the building. What's good? So as you all who have been tuned in understand that I've been keeping the same energy about this particular fight in general. But before I get to that, if you haven't heard, Tyson Fury is retiring. I'm not going to spend another wink of an eye talking about it, to be honest with you. Tyson Fury retiring is bittersweet because, you know, it brings an end to, you know, one of the heavyweights that made noise on his second run. He did make noise. He had a trilogy with my guy Deontay Wilder. He ended up getting the best of Deontay Wilder 2 out of the 3 clashes. And he would later on, you know, go in there to be defeated, you know, in his undisputed quest. You know, he was a former unified champion prior to his suspension. And he came back and he had the opportunity to face the new breed in Alexander Usyk from cruiserweight. They was destined. 2 champions, they clashed, and Tyson couldn't get it done 2 out of 3 times. I don't call it karma. You know what I'm saying? I just say, man, through all the controversy and scandal that went on, he was able to win, you know, but he also faced the same fate against arguably the pound for pound fighter right now. And we had this discussion last night. Shout out to the guys on the spaces. You know, it was one of those, if you know, Usyk defeated Joshua, the former unified champion, and then would go on to unify second division of the so-called, you know, number 1 or top rated undefeated Tyson Fury, and he loses, you know, he beats Fury, then he's number 1. Okay? He's number 1. Moving on. Can't take too much time on that. I want to also say, Steven Nelson, I'm rooting for you. Shout out to Sokol, 20-0, undefeated. He's in there with a tough fight coming up. Tough fight against Pacheco. I'm going for the vet. I'm going for Steven Nelson. Of course, he's over there in Omaha, Nebraska. Do a lot of things behind the scenes, but more so, he can scrap. He is tough. This is going to be his toughest matchup to date against Pacheco. Believe it. Believe it. You know what I'm saying? Believe it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's going down. Now, you remember when I posted this up here on how, you know, I was telling you all never to genuflect to the sport of boxing. the message that I was sending in this thumbnail is that we've had so many opportunities for boxing for it to be something better than what we actually experience. You heard me say several times before about how dysfunctional the sport is. That's how I really see the sport right here. You know, you have people that's willing to say, I'm committed just to boxing. But yet you have such danger close moments where you're fooled. You know what I'm saying? These cats say they married to boxing. You can't be married to boxing because boxing isn't a single entity. You just have a community. The birds are the community. You know what I'm saying? And they're always up to something. You know what I'm saying? They're always up to something that's considered nefarious. Always. So you have individuals selling themselves out when it comes to boxing media because they believe they're doing something special in the sport. But it will absolutely screw you over because it's just it's impossible to control the direction for which boxing twists and turns. Why is that? Because you have too many turnstiles in different locations where people can make changes that influence the sport. And that's exactly what we see going on right now. Kissing the ring. Kissing the ring. Turki Alalshikh is forcing them to kiss the ring, whether you want to recognize it or not. Turki Alalshikh has the mother effing juice. So much to the fact that when I put this up here, this I was trying to bring in healthiness into the 25 because we are at a point right now where this sport is going away from the old residue and smut of just talking about, hey man, this fight gonna happen, that fight, why this fight shouldn't happen. So-and-so ain't putting butts in the seats. They ain't selling out. Oh, they can't do the gate. They ain't doing the numbers. So-and-so ain't fought that person. Oh, so what? He fought that person. He didn't fight that person. And then we got the 4 kings, 5 kings. No, man. It's time to police. It's time for accountability. And as you look at this right here, Turki Alalshikh, who's now purchased the Ring magazine, has made his presence known by having the Ring awards the other day. Very, very tasteful. Enjoyed the decorum and everything. Everything about that. It allowed those fighters to be in a setting. Did you see how the media guys that was up there from all different segues who's dressed in black? The black tie affair, they was dressed in suits. They was dressed in attire that was, semi-formal to formal. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at this thumbnail right here, it says Turki Alalshikh right at the top. Now, when have you seen one face, one name? You remember Wilder used to say, no more ducking, no more dodging. I wanted to be one face, one name. Turki Alalshikh is not a promoter, not a manager, not an advisor. People don't know what Turki Alalshikh is. But his presence, right, brings us so close to actually having a single entity as if he was a governor or if he was, if the sport was regulated. If we had a governing body, if we had someone who was the overall controlling authority. Now, of course, this is a bit over the top. It's overreaching because this is still in its, rudimentary stages. It's still blossoming, right? So it's a lot of moving pieces that Turki has to put together for this puzzle to show a picture that makes sense to the boxing fans, right? But he's doing it in a short period of time. I mean, you know how they say just because you're rich doesn't mean you have taste? You know what I'm saying? Just because you're rich doesn't mean you have taste. You know, rich people cannot know what to do with the money, and they can just go out here and buy shit that don't make sense to them. It seems like right now, where Turki Alalshikh is placing his money, it makes sense. So when people talk about boxing right now, Riyadh season, it's one face, one name. Him. He is almost like the president. He is almost like the Dana White of boxing, without the sport being compressed into a single entity. Turki Alalshikh has accepted that position at the chain of command. And the crazy part about that chain of command is that he's not answering to anyone over here in the U.S. footprint to get a fight approved. He doesn't have to request permission. He's not on the lower subordinate rank structure to request budget approval. Now, excuse me if I'm just, there's a little bit of rise and inflection in my voice, but I'm just happy we get to see boxing change for the better good of the sport. If you also pay attention to this screen grab, you would notice at the top of the 5 fights that Turki Alalshikh wants to see, it said Turki Alalshikh wants to see these 5 fights. Turki Alalshikh, a lot of people feeling some type of way because he's royalty over there, right? He's royalty. He's not our president, but you have more people in boxing paying homage and showing that royalty respect the Turki Alalshikh. And we don't have to, but slowly but surely people are coming around, regardless if they want to jump on board or not. They coming around to accept what reality has given them, and that is the top of the 5 fights that you see. You see Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Now, this is where some of y'all might feel some type of way. Listen, just not too long ago last year, you heard these people reading line for line when they was going through their mental notes. It was like, the fight ain't happening. The fight ain't happening. Fight ain't happening. And they start laughing and joking. All these fucking panels up here talking shit. Oh, the fight ain't happening. W says, you thought that fight was happening. That ain't happening. That's impossible. Nobody's going to make that fight. No one wants to see that. No one. You know how mentally draining it could be if you really dove into trying to fix people's sense of thinking. It's just unbearable sometimes when it comes to boxing. I want to propose a question. I'm like, hey, why wouldn't the fight happen? Are you not recognizing his boxing ledger on both sides, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford? Both of them are balanced out in their divisional championships. Both of them have multiple championships that they've collected in their boxing career. Both of these individuals have been tenants on the pound for pound list for quite some time, right? Both of them are recognized as elite fighters of this era. Both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Now, when it comes to the range of scoring, gauging their popularity in the sport, that's when it becomes a little shady. That's when it becomes brain fog. Okay? Why do I say that? Because Canelo Alvarez, obviously, having a Mexican fan base behind him, one of the strongest fan bases in boxing, they are. One of the more ruthless fan bases in boxing, because they'll tell you to your face. I remember when I was in the service, when it came down to Mexican fighting Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, it was separation within there. I said, no, hold on. They all speak Espanol. Espanol, you speak, habla Espanol. What's wrong? That was a lesson. I like, why are y'all arguing so viciously amongst each other? Aren't y'all all Spanish? I mean, That's the ignorant part of back then. Like, I thought y'all was all together as one. But if you take a Mexican fighter like Canelo Alvarez and put him in there with a fighter like Crawford, I would say there's a higher percentage on the Cubans, Mexicans, Dominicans, all saying, well, it's a possibility. I'm not saying all of them, okay? I'm just saying it's a possibility they may go for the Mexican fighter. But then again, there's some individuals that will say, no, I'm going for Crawford because of this, this, and this. Crawford has his share of fan bases over here in the U.S., but it's nowhere near the numbers of a Canelo Alvarez, all right? But you can guarantee the WCS is within those numbers for Crawford when it comes down to this fight. Now, I just want to put a request out there. And I don't like doing this, but there was a fan base once upon a time. Bear with me, okay? This is tough for me to get out. Real talk, I get emotional. Y'all don't really hear me get emotional about certain things on this boxing. But the sport is changing. I feel good about, sticking to my guns, but bear with me. There was a once upon a time, and it hurts me. I mean, deeply, for real. It hurts me to my heart. Just even reflecting upon this and how it all went down. But there was once upon a time a fan base. Within that fan base, there were individuals who supported a specific fighter. Through social media, somehow, some way, they was tagged as the Errol sexuals. Now, bear with me, please. I know you're crying right now, and you too may be a bit emotional, but understand one thing. Once upon a time, there was a fan base, a collective community named Errol sexuals. Terence Bud Crawford, in one night, ravished the Errol sexuals, disbanded them in brutal fashion. Okay, I'm not here to speak about that, but it happened not too long ago in 2023. Okay, now the reason why I brought it up because I was thinking time goes by differently for everybody. It's not like it actually stops for someone to actually progress or make something happen. Take a little bit more time here. No, time never stops for nobody. And it seeing that fight go down the way it did on the 30th of July, 2023, it was almost looking like, the aftermath of some of these disasters. Seriously. That's how boxing looked. Crawford destroyed, firebombed an entire fan base. Now, moving forward, to no fault of Crawford, he wasn't able to get the rematch because Errol Spence decided to say, I need an eye. I need an eye examination and surgery. And, just when we thought that boxing had some type of integrity to it, and Errol Spence was saying he has no excuses, none whatsoever, y'all. No freaking excuses. Then he comes out and say he had been experiencing the cataracts before the fight. You know what I'm saying? He had cataracts before this and that. So why my whole reason for prefacing that is that they had hope in Errol Spence to be the one who shut down one of the more unpopular fighters in this era in Terence Crawford. He was the guy. Errol Spence was the guy, man. He was very popular. They liked his culture, connection, the way he dressed, who he was, trash talk, the way he went in there and fight. They say he fought like a Blaxican, a black with Mexican, his come forward pressure style. He had what it takes. Okay? Do you hear me? Errol Spence gave his fans everything it took for them to support him the way they did. In a single night, Crawford destroyed him and his stablemate and Derrick James. It was almost like the fires that we see in California right now. I'm just being honest. In all respect, the world-class furniture store, they had to go over there and check on that. They had to put water on the roof and all that. They was hosing it down because they say the fire is on the way. But anyway, once that rematch fell apart, there goes more and more hospital beds. The asylums was packed, standing room only of them aerosexuals who went crazy off that day. Now, as 24, finally processed its way through the year, now we start hearing about Jermell Charlo out of the picture. He went on vacation, and then Crawford started saying what? He started saying, I want to fight Canelo Alvarez. Right? Did he not? He said, I want to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, for some reason, these people could not get out their head that Crawford no longer contends at 135. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong, y'all? It's somehow, some way they're blinded. It's almost like the cataracts that they took out of Errol Spence's eyes, they put in the fight fans that's still up here hating on Crawford, the naysayers. It's almost like Errol Spence was an organ donor, and cataracts are not even organs. But it's almost like they removed the cataracts from his eyes, put them on there, spread them out, and they gave them out like it's freaking Free Turkey Day on Thanksgiving. They was handing out cataracts like it was turkeys. And you were saying, why can't they see? Why they can't see what's going on? What's wrong with these people? So Crawford, in the process of making this public record, he started to call out Canelo Alvarez. And immediately, it was met with resistance. Am I right or wrong, y'all? Immediately, it was met with resistance. Am I right or wrong? You seen angry birds all around the YouTube just flapping their wings. And look, it's not like they had agility. Them joints was overweight because they were sitting there in front of their computers forever and a day trying to find shit to talk about to defame Crawford's name. It had nothing to do with boxing. You know what I'm saying? They was criticizing him from before he stepped in there with Spence, after he stepped in there with Spence. Now, as the months tick by, he's been adamant about calling out the one and only Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, the thermometer has changed. Now, what they treated as just frivolous information. Because Crawford showed the world that Turki Alalshikh is a good friend of his. When that happened, they tried their best to say, how was that possible? How is Crawford, who was moving funny, doing bad business on the plantation of Top Rank, as they said, how can he know somebody that holds the type of lantern? Because Turki Alalshikh did come over here with a lantern. He was holding the lantern and shit. And you just seen that flickering light. And you say, who's that? Who's that in the distance? Who's that over there? Then they found out it was Crawford. He was over there talking some business with Turk. And they was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. Who can I tell about this? Fuck that. Fuck that. What Crawford think he doing? Crawford came over here and he wasn't signed to anybody anymore because they had to release him. If you heard Stephen Espinosa, right? He said it wouldn't be fair for us to hold Crawford on the landing pad if we could not make the fight. And that's fair. That's about the best thing I ever heard Steven say. Okay, they had to let Crawford go. So coming full speed, it gets to a point where fight fans are refusing to take Crawford serious. You go on and listen to these freaking live streams, and all they're saying, we're talking about hardcore. We're talking about boxing enthusiasts, boxing fanatics. What are they saying? We're talking about people who will tell you how this fighter throws a jab, how that fighter throws a combination, who has the best hook, who has legitimate, respectable power, who has fought this fighter, who has had some of the best fights in this amount of years. They will break that shit down to you. They would tell you the whole timeline of how Canelo has basically exceeded his fans' expectations and going out here beating Triple G. Fighting this guy, fighting that guy, moving up and fighting the dangerous Rocky Fielding. Moving up and fighting a very youthful Sergey Kovalev. They will tell you the whole breakdown. Oh, how he went about the 168-pound division from Callum Smith all the way to Caleb Plant, unifying the division. They will give all the praise and glory to Canelo Alvarez. But something was extremely funny when it came to a boxer who's been highlighted as a poor businessman, a person who doesn't have the competence, the person who they say move funny, the person who was forcing Errol Spence to do all the heavy lifting, the person who they say, oh, why did he force Errol Spence to give him the $1 million they betted in Oklahoma? Why? Why did Errol Spence do that? Why did he come out and say, well, per the consignment, I did give him the $1 million. No, hold on. The $1 million was for whoever won. But when Errol Spence said he put it in there and then it was complimented and dressed to part with a coin flip, he even threw a complimentary coin flip in there. It's like going up to, they throw you, a couple of scratch offs in there. You know what I'm saying? He threw a coin flip in there, yo. On who walks out first or second. Right? If you're looking on there, Crawford said 2025, I will show the world once again how great I am. Oh boy, that shit is in real time right now, ain't it? Ooh, oh. I was just taking in everything on all the naysayers and haters. The onlookers that was sitting back there in the shadows, stumping their feet and shit, acting like little hoes. No, he ain't getting that fight. We're talking about people who call themselves hardcore boxing enthusiasts that will tell you how a fighter went about fighting this fighter and who he's fought and why Crawford is not going to be able to do this and this to that fighter. They'll tell you the whole breakdown. They'll tell you how Canelo has went up there and proved that he's willing to accept the challenge as a smaller fighter. He has made leaps and bounds to these higher divisions. And then when it comes time for Bud, hey, I want to fight Canelo Alvarez. All the Satan angels ascend up to the surface, goddammit. But them motherfuckers came in the army. I'm serious. All you have to look, if you want to see Satan's angels flying around, all you got to do is go and click on YouTube. The YouTube Central will show you everything you need to see when it comes to the ominous side of boxing. What human beings are dedicated to lying about. This man, Crawford, said he wanted to move up to face Canelo. This was known that he wanted to fight a division higher when he was at 147. He made it known. What did he say? He said, whatever, I want to fight Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo didn't want no smoke. So what he said, I want to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, there was once upon a time, people, that Errol Spence was also speaking about this. You know what I'm saying? His language pretty much expressed his desire to face Canelo Alvarez. He was still in 147. And these same individuals who were denouncing Crawford's effort to be greater than what he is now, they was up there advocating and encouraging Errol Spence Jr. to get that fight. Oh my God, that'd be a hell of a fight. Oh my God, if anybody can go up there from 3 divisions below, it's Errol Spence Jr. What about his fight with Crawford? No, man. What were they saying, y'all? What were they saying? Who is he fought to deserve a fight with EJ? Nah, bro, come on. They're in the same division. EJ has put the declaration out there that he wants to become undisputed. That's EJ's declaration at the time. Yeah, he'd get around to that. But Crawford ain't did nothing to get in the ring. What about him being undisputed? Man, don't nobody care about that shit, bro. Who is Julius Ndongo? Now you can't name me who he fought to win the titles. Who did Julius Ndongo fight? Okay, then. You had debates upon debates upon debates trying to admit the validity of Crawford's achievements when he was moving up 35 to 40. So he moved up and did the exact same thing he did when he fought Madrimov. He moved from 40 to 47 and fought Jeff Horn. All they were saying is, oh my God, Jeff Horn is way bigger than Crawford. Crawford biting off a little bit more than he can chew. See, he about to get exposed. You know that word, exposed. They use it as a preposition, bro. Expose. Man, Jeff Horn big. You saw what he was doing to Pacquiao? We know Crawford can't beat no Pacquiao. And Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao? Oh, my God. No way. Crawford is biting off a little bit more than he can chew over there in Omaha. Oh, it's over for him. Not only did he move up, but he stopped Jeff Horn. He stopped him. And then he went on a stopping spree of knockouts. That in itself deserves recognition, right? When it comes to bragging. Crawford wasn't a braggadocious type, but fans like myself were. We was bragging about it. But what did they say? Who did he fight? A one-legged Jose Benavidez? Now bear with me while I'm working up through the storm, right? I know a lot of people, I'm peeling back some scar tissue for you. Especially on a Monday, this shit ain't right. I know it ain't right. Just bear with me. You know what I'm saying? Find a cold, ball of water. Grab a soda or something. They say Jose Benavidez had one leg. They gave him no credit and beat that undefeated Jose Benavidez. And then, he kept going on Amir Khan. Look, it's been plenty of debates that I've heard when it came to Amir Khan that they would say Canelo Alvarez flatlined Amir Khan. But they won't tell you that Danny Garcia and Prescott did it previously. So when Crawford stopped him, they was, oh man, he was damaged goods. So they eliminated Amir Khan from the equation. They just said Amir Khan was damaged goods, he quit. Remember, before he stepped in there with Igor Kavalauskas, the conversation was, let's go all the way back in time. Hey, you got any more of those paper planes? Hey, man, build me a life-size Parrish. Yeah, I want to catch a good wind and fly back to Gamboa fight. Yeah, in Omaha. You think it'll make it in this season? Because, paper be getting wet and folding. I don't want to crash out, bro. Especially on a highway full of traffic. Yeah, I think I can make it happen. I'm going to get a bed sheet. I'm going to get a bed sheet, mix that with paper. And that shit going to be light. You good. Okay, good. Whenever they paraglide they dumbass back into Omaha and always bring up Gamboa hurting Crawford, they act like it impeded his progress to the path that he was on to be great. Every single time you will have the haters. It's almost like teaching your kids numbers for the first time, teaching them the phonetics for the first time, and they're trying to get it in recession. They keep repeating the same shit over and over again. Gamboa hurt him. He was hurt by Gamboa. You remember that Cuban that he fought? Yeah, man, Crawford almost got knocked out by Gamboa. Yeah, Gamboa, I swear, you've heard me make a joke about it, but Gamboa be on the beach and his notification, bing, bing, bing. You've just earned $25. Your name was mentioned at 2:32 p.m. Channel so-and-so on YouTube Central. Enjoy, Mr. Gamboa, as you continue to make residual income of these boxing dummies who mention your name. Gamboa was getting paid residuals. Fucking super chat. Gamboa was getting royalties off these idiots that kept on mentioning his name about Crawford. Moving on. I'm pretty sure Crawford has had some times when he was chilling with the fam, and he said to himself, God damn, man, I'd be glad when they switch up from Gamboa. That shit's old. Now Igis Kavalasi, Dream Machine, come in the picture. People's like, who the fuck is this guy? Nobody know who he is. Oh, man, Crawford's going in there with somebody we don't really care about no more. Why? We don't care about him. No, we don't care about no Igis Kavalakis. Who is he? And then Igis went in there, and they had that moment, supposedly, when Crawford got hit with a good shot. And Crawford mentioned this. You know what I'm saying? He mentioned that Gamboa caught him. But also Crawford holds down his integrity as a fighter and said that Green Machine was his toughest fight. Did he not? He said, hey, that was his toughest fight. And in that moment, people will say with vigor that Green Machine caught Crawford and dropped him. So for many, many years, they was using Gamboa. Now they had Green Machine to talk about. Oh, man, they was happy. If you ever heard someone talk about Crawford getting dropped by Green Machine, they said it was such delight. Seriously. It's almost like you eating a 3-piece chicken from Popeyes and you got the whole works, and then you wash it down with that sweet tea and that itis creep up on you. You know how motherfuckers just start getting all lethargic? And they say, hold up, man. Before we go back to work, just chill, dog. Got to get my shit back together, dog. Damn. We might need to stop by Starbucks and get some coffee, man. I need to perk up. Damn, that itis crept up on me, bro. Real talk. We can't go back over to Popeyes no more and get 3 or 4 chicken sandwiches and eat them motherfuckers. We can't do that. I'm being honest with you, y'all. Crawford, he got to a point where he had to listen to Gamboa and he had to now listen to Green Machine, which he didn't shy away from. When it came to him stepping up and fighting Errol Spence, it got to a point where Crawford was like being told out here, he was hearing that he needed to fight a common opponent, EJ. So he did that. He fought Kell Brook, and they say that EJ had already busted up Kell Brook. Let's move on. That ain't shit. He goes in there and finishes him in 4 rounds. Okay. All right. Not to mention, you know, he had to move down within under 8 months from 160 to 147. Now, hold up. It gets interesting. I told you I'm going to walk you to the firestorm, right? It's funny I mentioned that shit because when Kell Brook moved up to 160, 2 divisions, against one of the most dangerous fighters at that time in Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, you did not hear any of all this rat-a-tat-tat bullshit that goes on the YouTube Central when Kell Brook moved up to face Triple G. Can y'all go back that far? I know a lot of y'all a little bit older than you were back then. You know what I'm saying? Some of you are on breathing apparatuses right now. You know what I'm saying? You have your own manual defibrillator. But you remember when Kell Brook moved up against the wishes of his promoter? You know, Eddie Hearn and them, they was like, hey, don't do it. Mate, what are you doing? That's rubbish. Don't do it. He went up there and he got stopped. Not only that, but Errol Spence was his mandatory. So in under like 8 months, he had to come back down 2 divisions, drop from 60 back down to 47. My whole purpose for mentioning that is, do you remember that no one was saying anything about him dropping back down from 60 to 47, but their entire focus of the conversation was the fact that he was about to step in there with Spence? That's the whole deal. If you want to highlight a fighter going in someone else's backyard to catch them slipping, oh my God, Spence, that was the perfect time. That was the perfect time, was it not, y'all? Kell Brook losing, dropping. Pay attention. Pay attention now. Weight draining himself all the way back down to 47 to step in there with EJ, to go in there and fight Kell Brook. And yes, he ended up getting a stoppage, but he had already been damaged and punched up by Gennady. Did you hear people saying that Errol Spence shouldn't fight Kell Brook? Did you hear that, oh my God, he's dropping back down from 60 to 47? Oh man, that's effed up. Why would Spence do that? No. They was like, oh my God, Spence about to pick up a championship. We've been waiting for this. Because look, his fans was waiting for him. He had been fluctuating from above 47 super welterweight to welterweight. You know, he was playing tennis back and forth, man, trying to figure out a little hopscotch here and there, double dutching. You know, he was trying to figure out what weight he wanted to be at, right? But nobody was talking this weight drain shit. They was just happy that the man picked up his IBF title in Kell Brook's backyard. He stops him. And that, my friends, was the birth of EJ when it comes to the championship titleists. He would later go on to beat Sean Porter, a 2-time welterweight world champion. And then we know the whole history of him, you know, beating Urdinas Ugas. But did you remember when I said that nobody was talking about Kell Brook was weight drain? But to this day, Crawford going in there and beating EJ July 29th, 2023, what was one of the excuses that they continue to hashtag whenever they mention Crawford defeating EJ? It was the fact that he was weight drained. They wanted to stamp that. Oh, he was weight drained. He was weight drained. He was weight drained. He was high. This is hardcore boxing enthusiasts that was basically peppering you with excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse, bro. They still couldn't stop the T-Mobile massacre from going down. They couldn't stop it, y'all. They never could stop it. It was nothing that was at the intersection that prevented Crawford forward progress. He went in there with I don't know how many behind him. Not behind him in a sense of support, but behind him, you know, throwing knives in his back, stabbing him in the back. They call themselves boxing fans, but they up there trying to hope and wish. Oh man, I hope he get injured. I hope he get injured. What's the reports coming out of there, Omaha? He's still good. Damn, shit. Did y'all send those ball of waters over there to his place? The ones that we pre-opened and put the shit in there? Oh, they didn't accept it. God damn, shit. What about cutting the lights off? Did y'all cut the lights off? Did y'all interrupt some of his freaking training session? Did y'all catch him over there in Colorado Springs running at elevation and put some thumbtacks out there or something like that? No, that didn't stop him. The whole entire time, that you was listening, tuned in to the YouTube Central, they tried everything, y'all. They tried their best to stop history. And the way history turned out was that he was in there with the fighter that was on the pound for pound list that was supposed to be his equal. Am I lying? Spence was supposed to be Crawford's equal, yo. This was supposed to be the fight. This what everybody came out for. This was a time and place where if you looked at the dating scene, there was more of a fluctuation in relationships at that time because the women even wanted to go to this fight. So they was out there doing their best to try to find somebody that can get them a ticket no matter where they was sitting. For real, they was willing to sacrifice it all just to be there on the 29th and break up on the 30th, goddammit. So to see all this play out with all the hate, and to see how easily Crawford went in there and beat Errol Spence. Who in their right mind would think that he's not qualified for Canelo? He's qualified for Canelo. Not only that, when the rematch fell apart and Showtime had already took flight, and then the IBF came in there like Zorro looking to steal some shit, there was rumblings about, hey man, Crawford's gonna move up to freaking 154. Turki Alalshikh is gonna put on his first fight card. Still to this day, they was hating on Crawford. They act like they didn't want to see any part of him stepping in there and fighting for a championship in his first fight at 154. They even said that Crawford is moving too fast, y'all. Can you imagine that? Do you know how many stoppages he had at 147? They were saying that Crawford was moving too fast. Once again, I repeat, they say Crawford was moving too fast by stepping up to 154 pounds for a championship fight. They were saying that he should fight a tune-up prior to going in there with the champion. Look, check this out. It gets even more interesting, yo. For those of you that's out there, put the pipe down and back away from the table. I don't want you all goddamn running into a freaking wall just for fun when I tell you this. They said that Crawford was moving too fast at 154. Now that they found that Turki Alalshikh was supporting and the fight was going to take place, they changed it up. Now they start talking about what? What did they start talking about, y'all? Oh, man. Man, that champion that he's about to face, Madrimov, oh, my God, Crawford's in trouble. Why you say that? First of all, he's old. Did you see his legs? In that fight with Spence, y'all was just looking at the punches, but I was paying attention to the shit. I'm telling you, man, I'm woke. What you mean you said? Man, some of them counter shots he was hitting Spence with, he grimaced, man, because that arthritis and his knees was buckling and shit. What? I ain't never see that. Anyway, let's talk about Madrimov. Them motherfuckers started talking about Madrimov's amateur career. Oh, my God. Once again, we heard the same chorus of how Crawford was moving up to 47, and he was out of his league with Jeff Horn, big, too strong Aussie fighter. Now he moves up for his debut for a championship fight against Madrimov. Now they start talking about, since they can't stop the press with Turki Alalshikh, they say he has unbelievable amateur pedigree. Crawford ain't never fought nobody with an amateur pedigree like this. Even though Spence was an Olympian now. Even though I don't want to go back and peel off the Band-Aid and shit, but so-and-so got beat and he complained and they say he was over there shedding tears and shit and he ended up getting, and then Spence say, oh, I lost my mojo since, the second time around, I lost my mojo. But anyway, they started talking about Madrimov's amateur career. Crawford is the more established fighter over here in the U.S., but yet they was highlighting a foreigner who they didn't even know anything about it until once again the Omaha Monster graced him with his presence. He found out on BoxRec that he was highlighted to face the Omaha mother effing Monster. And now all of a sudden Madrimov is getting that extra needed attention when he walk out and take the trash down to the end of the curve. Hey Madrimov, good luck. We hear you going in there and fighting the Omaha Monster. Good luck, Madrimov. Hey, thank you. and do us well. Fight for us. They was up there saying that Madrimov had 1,783 amateur fights. You know what I'm saying? He was the #1 dancer out of his class. They was showing all this shit for Crawford, towards Crawford. Once again, Crawford was against enemy lines when it came to his own motherfucking people here, right here in the U.S. They was, look, how do you process this shit psychologically? How can a fighter be a U.S. citizen, born and raised, right? It don't matter where he was born and raised, and they know who he is because he's been fighting here in the U.S. for a lengthy period of time. Even went over there and fought in Ricky Burns' backyard, right? But they don't mention that shit. But peep this out though. You take Crawford, and he's going in there against a total stranger because Jermell Charlo used to have the belts. He's going in there against a total stranger, bro. And they're up here building up a sheet where they're bulletizing highlighted points about Madrimov's amateur career to use against Crawford. If that's not propaganda, what the fuck is, bro? I mean, the rhetoric, oh my God. They was up here saying that with Madrimov's amateur pedigree, Crawford may potentially get knocked out. Why would he get knocked out? Because he's too SMALL. For real. So a nigga like me, right? I say, okay, so if he's too small, why did Terence look like a giant in there with Errol Spence Jr.? Oh, I can tell you that. I can tell you. My hand is up in there. My hand is up. Okay, you. Because he was weight drained. No, bro, don't do that, man. Come on, have some self-accountability. Come on, man, don't do it. Come on, man. I'm trying to keep you around for your input, but you can't come up here talking the casual shit. All right, man. Cataracts. Bro, just try to say something about Crawford. Okay, get your mind off Spence. Say something about Crawford. What he did right that night. Bro, you can't find one thing Crawford did good on July 29th? No, bro. I can't. What about him stepping in there with Madrimov? What's your take? Oh, man, that amateur career Madrimov guy is going to be too much, bro. Crawford small. You're talking about a guy who initially fought at 118. Bro, stop the cap. Oh, he didn't fight at 118? I mean, well, super bantamweight. It's never when they look. I know I'm being sarcastic, but it's never a way that when you get to these group of people that they lead with something positive that Crawford has done. He goes in there and fight Madrimov, and all they talk about is when Madrimov landed a punch on Crawford. I was like, is that the only shit you seen in that fight? That Madrimov was landing some punches on Crawford? Oh man, his legs. His legs, man, bro, his legs. That's what they have, man. His balance, his balance combined with his legs and balance, man, something wasn't balanced when it came to his legs. They just said he looked old. His legs. But Madrimov, the much younger fighter, when are y'all gonna hold them accountable? Right? Y'all say Crawford was old against Spence, right? But yet when he beats him, he's weight drained. He goes in there with a younger Madrimov. Y'all say Crawford looks old, but why didn't Madrimov run through Crawford like Crawford has ran through any other opponent up to that point at 147 and in his career? Because his knockout streak extends downward outside of 147 prior to him attending the division. So when are these haters going to recognize that the younger guys who face Crawford, when are they going to demonstrate? When are you going to fucking demonstrate, bro? Everything can't be responsibility of Terence Crawford to show you what he's already been doing. He's been showing you all the whole entire time that he's different. So he comes in there with Turki Alalshikh, packs the building out, and he beats Madrimov. And all we hear is Crawford picks up another title, but he got beat up. Within that, they start peeling and paging through the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Bible of the dark angels of boxing. And they start going to these scriptures and say, well, I don't think he's going to be able, the way he looked against Madrimov, who was only 10-0, I don't think he's going to be able to unify the 154-pound division. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible, to be honest. I don't think it's possible. He looked old. Man, he need to retire. They was talking about Crawford should retire, and he is undefeated. They say he 37 years of age, on the brink of 37 years of age at that time, the next month in September. They say he should retire before he get knocked out. So Crawford started putting it out there like he let it be known he wanted Sebastian Fundora. But you saw the games that was being played with his former foe. Errol Spence jumped in the ring with a betting slip in his hand. Tomorrow it's time to face the big dog. When was that anyway? When did he jump in the ring? That was old last year, huh? But did you see, were you paying attention to the crowd? Did you see the old aerosexuals beneath the chairs? They couldn't believe it themselves. They said, oh, my Lord, my Savior, my King, my God has arrived. Oh, he's here. Did you see him? They was up there peeking out of purses, backpacks. They had been in seclusion, y'all. They was like, hey, that's EJ. Oh, shit. He's fighting Sebastian. Oh, man, they started going on here like it was a sandbox, like they was playing in the sandbox. Oh, man, look what PBC did. They blocked Crawford. He ain't fighting Sebastian Fundora. If Crawford ever thought he was going to unify 154, man, that ain't happening. You hear Sampson over here talking about, how Crawford has a no-likable style. We still, to this day, haven't seen Sebastian in the ring. After Sebastian had told you all, point blank period, he had put it out there, right? Right?
Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world. I would like to fight him.
We don't need to see the whole thing. I just want you to see who he's posted up with right here. The man, the myth, and going to be legend, Turki Alalshikh. You know what I'm saying? Because that fight with Madrimov has since long gone. I heard somebody the other night say, hey, man, Crawford's never going to be no, I would rather see Crawford unify the 154-pound division than fight Canelo. They're trying to compare Crawford's move from 54. Now, he's a division higher than 47. They're trying to compare and use some type of intoxicated analogy. I'm talking about recreational drugs buying with some old hypnotic Alizé drinking niggas. I'm talking about Alizé drinking, old school freaking what's that shit? Crown Royal Paul Masson. These cats was sitting up here saying it's no way that Crawford's going to be able to unify the 154-pound division. So they consider the Canelo move to be somewhat of an exhibition comparable to MVP promotions. They were saying that, oh, this is like Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul. What? Are you serious? So they didn't want to show no love because Crawford was moving up just 2 divisions to face Canelo Alvarez. Now, you may not look at it like this, but you have to say, man, I'm witnessing something special, right? Now, we all know in life, depending on who it is, you can have special mean something that's very kind from a person that's open-minded, right? Or you can take someone with preconceived notions and say special is somewhat of a bad thing, implying that you're dumb, you lack literacy, right? So we, on my side, we're seeing something special go on with Crawford because of what we have recently been seeing out here in the media. You know, it took a little bit of time, but it's here. When I say it's here, reports has it. Now, I'm not going to just pin it, too much. I'm not going to take out the hammer and nail that shit to people's forehead every time the subject comes up. But I just want you to take a look at the accolades that Crawford has amassed in his career. Amongst the two-time undisputed that actually became official and recorded in 2023, to the point where Canelo, who said Crawford would be easy work, has somehow found himself in London, and when asked, he has changed up. It's a chance. It's a chance. It's a chance. Oh, it's a chance. Canelo is now saying it's a chance. Imagine that. Imagine all the haters out here that's saying the fight ain't gonna happen. Hey, WCS. You was talking all that Cinco de Crawford. Listen, Cinco de Crawford deals with Crawford beating Canelo. Not just them fighting on Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Crawford is saying him beating Canelo Alvarez is Cinco de Crawford. So I created this for you all. As Canelo is looking, I have Canelo looking at all the accolades from top to bottom of Terence Bud Crawford. And also I put it up there for the fight fans who continue to convince themselves that Crawford is not ready for Canelo. Now, let me ask you this. For those of you that continue to just shoot this down, right? What would bring you to a conclusion that Crawford is not ready for Canelo based off two divisions? Not only that, is that you can look at the height and weight of Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, right? Is there a difference when it comes to how tall Terence Crawford is comparable to Canelo Alvarez? Huh? Terence Crawford 5'8", 74-inch reach. Is that incredible? Is that Sebastian Fundora-esque? Huh? 5'8", 74-inch reach. What is Canelo at? Do y'all know? Canelo is a tad bit under Crawford at 5'7.5" and 70.5-inch reach. Yeah, I said it. Crawford sits at 74-inch reach and Canelo is 70.5-inch. But when you talk to these people about Canelo, they up here acting like Canelo's walking in there looking like Tyson Fury. They act like Canelo's going to be 281 when he rehydrates up. Should we still be carrying on the same agitprop about this fight when Canelo is shorter than Crawford and has shorter reach than Crawford? At the end of the day, you're talking about body composition. We're talking about Crawford not named in as a fighter who's dropped his belts on the scales for missing weight. Popping dirty. Oh shit. Popping dirty. God damn it. Why would I even go this far without even throwing that into the goddamn equation? Crawford is always presenting himself as one of those fighters who live the fighter's lifestyle, right? Y'all have heard that before in your lifetime, right? So therefore, there's no documentation to ever place Crawford in a bubble of controversy as taking pads to get ahead. Yeah. Taking pads to get ahead. You heard me, sucker. Taking pads to get ahead. But if you look back in history outside of the first Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin fight, The facts is that Canelo popped dirty. And I'm not even going to go and dive deep into that. All I'm saying is, once upon a time, if I select to tell the story, Canelo Alvarez popped dirty. Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol. Now they're saying to themselves, "Oh man, WCS, you just hurt. You're hating again, bro." How am I hating when Canelo actually has a career where you can bookmark that you have to shake your head? Outside of the rehydration clauses and all, him popping dirty and stuff like that, there are moments that people believe that the fight with him and Erislandy Lara, he lost. There's moments that for quite some time, Floyd Mayweather was the only fighter who ever defeated Canelo Alvarez. And for quite some time, people gave the excuse that Canelo was green. For quite some time, Floyd was the sole proprietor of that moment. But now you have a fighter, and Canelo lives the fighter's lifestyle. He just chose to switch up the diet a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He got caught slipping. He blamed it on the beef. I'm saying to myself, work with me now. Does Crawford have one credit? Shouldn't Crawford have a credit that he can use, especially leading up to this fight? I mean, it's sort of kind of, can't he, if he wanted to, test dirty right now? Will it be as bad if Crawford was to test dirty right now? Seriously. Test dirty for having that dog. Huh? Isn't this a time? Test dirty for being that guy. Him. I mean, isn't the perfect time for him to test dirty for that shit? Because, when Crawford was calling out Jermell Charlo, it's no different than him calling out Canelo Alvarez. Canelo accepted Jermell Charlo for a night of honors, right? Now, when Crawford was doing it, it was too small. He's easy work. But yet the math wasn't mathing when it came down to Canelo being presented with the question of Turki Alalshikh offering $100 million and Canelo saying 150. And I'm gonna tell you, I spent some long nights. Real talk. I was sipping on a bottle of essential water. And I said to myself, I know I can come up with this shit. I know I can come up with a conclusion. I spent long nights thinking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I kept saying to myself, well, when it comes to Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez, I was just trying to do all this mental examination. I was standing in the lab. I was trying to say, damn, when is Crawford going to get, the recognition he deserves from his people while he's still actively on top of the game? And the fact that he's being vilified for calling out Canelo Alvarez is insane. A person that is saying, I need $150 million that I never made with any other fighter on my boxing ledger to fight a guy who's small and easy work. That shit don't make no sense. But when you hear the goofballs up here trying to explain to you, oh, he has every right to ask for $150 million. He's the face of boxing. Okay, so if you consider him to be the face of boxing, then explain as to why he needs so much money to fight a fighter who a lot of haters consider and Canelo consider to be what? Easy work. I was saying, damn, on those long nights, I remember having a box of tissue and I counted. Look, I counted tissue by tissue, the whole entire box. And the reason why I was doing that, I say, how many Canelo fans, can I wipe the tears from their face with just one of these? Can I wipe 5? Can Cinco? Can I wipe 5, faces with this and be able to basically get enough Canelo fans who are crying about this shit? Will it be enough to wipe up the crying? I'm just saying the hardcore fans, the Mexican fans, are much more hardcore in my opinion when it comes down to it. But is it enough in this tissue box to wipe the tears away from them bitching and complaining about Crawford, calling out Canelo and saying his weight class is for a reason? How all of a sudden his fucking weight class is for a reason? How is it weight class is for a reason, considering that he already destroyed one fighter on the pound for pound list and he wants to go for another fight on the pound for pound list? A fighter who they say is the face of boxing, the cash cow, the creme de la creme, right? So it's almost that moment where we got to say, okay, we got to hold these cats accountable for making up dumbass excuses. How can it be weight classes for a reason when it has proven in the past that fighters can move up from a lower weight class or classes plural to a higher division and come out victorious? Huh? Do you believe this right here, this matrimony, when it comes to boxing business, was heaven sent? Was it something that you can say that was spiritually going to happen? Just think about it. All the people that Crawford has to prove himself against, right? Do you believe that God himself or the supreme being or the most high is the one that blessed him to be able to do what was right, and someone to the stature and prestige of Turki Alalshikh recognized that shit? The fact that Crawford knew him for a while and never let it be known to the general public that he knew who Turki Alalshikh was. They was very good friends. They had a very good rapport. Because even with that said, when news start to break that Crawford and Turki Alalshikh had that rapport, they even turned up the hatred for Crawford. And how they did it was they was trying to say that Crawford could do business over here in the U.S. Man, I am so sick and tired of that. I don't want to hear that shit no more. They were saying, oh, why are you giving Turki Alalshikh all this, that, and the other? It's not like these people even gave a damn about what Crawford had going on. But now he was with a person that didn't have to answer to all the entities that they wanted Crawford to bow down to. They wanted Crawford to be the Django. Yeah. They called him Top Rank Toby. But they wanted Crawford to still be the Django and goddamn ride in on the horse and get insulted with all these names. Seriously. It's okay you ride on that horse, but we're still going to treat you like you're an ant. Yeah, you is. We're going to show you. We're not going to show you anymore. Dressing all fancy. We know who you are, boy. But he's linked up with Turki Alalshikh. And they saw that cloud cover never left. You know, it was like a little shady, but the sun was breaking through that bitch. And you know, after Crawford beat Madrimov, the ultimate amateur fighter of the decade, that cloud cover kept on falling Crawford. And then, the sun was shining through that motherfucker here and there, right? It kept on. And then, it was just every now and then the haters would be pouring shit into it so it can just start hailing, so you can get the thunder with the lightning. And they were saying that, hey, what the fuck is wrong with Crawford? He need to focus on 154 all of a sudden. He need to focus on 154. But yet, they was cheering when Jermell Charlo say, oh, I'm coming out of recess now. So when Errol Spence jumped through the ropes, they was cheering. And when Jermell Charlo say he's coming out of recess, they was cheering and saying Al Heyman has blocked Crawford from getting the titles at 154. Do you see where I'm going with this shit? And then turn back around when he calls out Canelo, a fighter who has had dealings with PBC. You get people on here saying PBC is not going to entertain that. First of all, Al Heyman don't want to do no. Why wouldn't he want to do business with Crawford? It wasn't Crawford's fault that he could not attend the rematch. It was EJ's fault. So when you look at the entire encapsulated freaking itinerary that we've been able to witness and document, now based off all the hatred of these individuals who was filming that Crawford would even dare call out Canelo Alvarez because they was fearful. Yeah, they had reservations because they know Crawford is a dangerous fighter, right? Now that the word has broken, it gets freaking interesting, don't it? Word has been broken. Terence Crawford framed with Turki Alalshikh. Canelo Alvarez is saying it's a chance, it's a chance, it's a chance. Yes, for me and Crawford to have this dance. If not in May, it's going to be in September. I look to see him on that night under the bright lights. Come on, man. These same naysayers and haters, what do you all have to say now, goddammit? The fight of the century potentially is going down if everything holds up right and William Scull shows up and get his ass knocked out. I'll say give Scull about 4 or 5 rounds. Who cares? Who cares, man? Listen, there's no way Canelo is coming out of that fight a loser. This is a shortcut. You know what I'm saying? This is almost like playing Uno, man. This is checkers. It's not going to be like he did when he fought Chavez Jr. It's going to be that he's going to step in there and like he stepped in there with Dimitri Bivol, and Bivol was obviously routing Canelo Alvarez the first half of that fight, and they were scoring it strictly for Canelo. Rounds 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Canelo. What do you think Skull's going to go through? Scull would be happy if he win a second of the fight. And it's a shortcut for Canelo to become 2-time undisputed at 168 pounds. So then that will inject a lot more interest to the debates that's going to be happening live and living color out here at YouTube Central as to who got the better resume, who got this. Canelo did the same thing Crawford did. And Canelo did this. Crawford ain't did nothing Canelo ain't done. I mean, look, 2 is 2, right? I mean, you don't want no dos. Yeah, dos uno. I mean, ichi ni if you're talking about Japanese. I mean, we can say what we want to say about that shit, yo. If he gets 2-time undisputed 168, and you want to think when it comes down to a debate, you're going to sit up here and highlight William Scull as being a tough opposition, get your dumb ass up out of here quick. Once again, you're going to prove that Crawford did everything right. You know, Crawford beat for his second time undisputed. He beat Errol Spence. Vice Canelo going in there and getting his belt back from a guy who just came off the cloning assembly line that no one ever heard in life. I guarantee you William Scull don't even have a birth certificate. But goddamn it, they can tell you what cloning number he was when he came off. I mean, this was all designed, goddamn it. This was all designed. He goes in there and fights somebody we never heard before, who just won the title, right? Who earned the title based off them stripping Canelo. Canelo goes in there and have no problem beating this guy, right? I doubt Canelo's going to play with his food. He's going to get him up out of there. And then it's going to be clear landscape, y'all. I'm talking about for miles and miles and miles. It's going to be clear landscape. And it's almost like looking over the ridge line. You see the motherfucking sun over there just beaming. That's what it's going to be when the Crawford and Canelo, it's nothing but that fight pending. A wrap. The biggest fight of the century. Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford finally, potentially will clash. No more, it's not going to happen. Turki Alalshikh is doing this. No, 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 no. Shout out to Big Turk. Shout out to them taking a pick and Crawford over there showing the world that, hey, if you do everything you're supposed to, you will be blessed. Real talk. If you do what you're supposed to in good faith, you will receive your blessings, goddammit. I don't care how many haters want to say that Turki Alalshikh is taking over and he's going to be consuming all the boxing. I mean, how many decades did the U.S. have to get it together? So don't complain about what we don't have in our possession right now. I mean, wasn't all we heard when it came to the media over here was complaining, bitching and complaining all the time? I mean, nobody wants to go through that. It's a new age that's upon us. If you don't like what Turki Alalshikh has going on, you can't do anything about it. But sit back and watch and come over here and bitch, whine, and complain. Now the good part about it is on the horizon, we know there may potentially be an announcement. And also, they may not let you know, but there's a lot of people out here anticipating that first press conference. Ooh, wait. I wonder, they're probably having it Beverly Hills, rather. So they can keep the hood rats out. And then they'll bring it back over to the South. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, yeah, we're gonna I don't even know if it's gonna who knows where is it gonna be. They need to bring it down here to the South, to the A. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get on the plane and go over there and get another pick with Crawford and say, hey man, you did it. Once again, you did it. You know what I'm saying? You showed the people you do what you're supposed to. You walk that line. You know what I'm saying? You go out here courageously. You go out here and show how it's supposed to be as a champion, how you're supposed to present yourself in front of the people. Yeah, you might have started off slow in your career, not speaking to the media, not being one of the favorites when it came to being user friendly, when it came to the fan base and media. But it ain't over till it's over. The man is 37 years of age. So remember, I told you, if this fight is going down in September, what they're gonna talk about most of the time, you know what they're gonna talk about? They're gonna talk about Terence Crawford being 38 years of age. Canelo is 34 right now. Crawford is 37. All right. So expect that to be after this William Scull fight. Expect, unless it's gonna be a Sriracha. I don't propose on that. When Canelo Alvarez goes in there and he pulls off one of the biggest duck moves and it ends up like Sriracha and Jaime Munguia, I don't see William Scull knocking out Canelo Alvarez to derail Crawford's opportunity to step in the square with him. I don't know, man. I mean, I've seen crazier things in life, bro. I've seen crazier things in life. Real talk. It gets wild. But I just want to put it out there for you. They love talking about Crawford's age. All right? So I just want to put the information out there that he was born September 28th. All right? So if we go on the calendar for this year, September 28th is on a Sunday, right? So he would be stepping in the ring with Canelo Alvarez prior to September 28th. Now, whether it's going to be the 27th, the 20th, 13th, who knows? But he would still be 37 years of age stepping in the ring with Canelo if that fight is indeed official. Okay? I just wanted to put that out there so, the individuals that select to use it, he was born on September 28th, 87. Okay? Just so you know. And also, he still has been seen as a switch hitter. All right? He sits at 41, pending 42 victories. He sits at 41, 0 defeats with 31 hosted knockouts. The guy you see in the picture has made himself available at the absolute perfect time. This is God's work. Seriously, this is God's work at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Age 35, and this is the old. I'm just putting it up there. Age 35, 33, it wouldn't make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Look how they messed up the height. I'm just grabbing false advertisements, off. They say 5'8", 5'8". You know, they want them to be the same height. A half doesn't really matter, but these guys, when it comes to recognition of their accolades, is outstanding. Let me get to the chat right quick. Appreciate everyone for pulling up, of course. The OG Bruce Gas on deck. I see you. Bud gonna stop Canelo in the building. Salute to you, bro. Jamal Neasy on deck. Destroy them aerosexuals in one night. For real, man. I mean, I have to continue to make mention of it. I have to continue to stay consistent, to make note of, him breaking down an entire fan base. It was something that shouldn't be considered legal because of the amount of casualties that was left behind by Terence Crawford. But being that he's being blessed with Turki Alalshikh making this fight between Canelo means that it was in good faith. You know what I'm saying? What Crawford did on that night to the aerosexuals was in good faith. He broke them down, disbanded them, and sent them into isolation. You know what I'm saying? Sent them to isolation. It's all good. Dan said, and let's not forget that aerosexuals were claiming Canelo ducked Spence. Man, please don't bring up those skeletons far deep. Some things like that, Dan, should just be left buried under cement beneath a freaking landfill. You know what I'm saying? Some of that shit should just be left alone, because when you say stuff like that, it only proves that it's a good reason why the aerosexual was broken down and destroyed the way they were. Entire fan base. He broke down the aerosexuals and the Jermell Charlo fan base at the same time, under the banner of the World Class Furniture Store. How dare you, WCS, for bringing up the past? Aerosexuals don't want to remember that stuff. This is going to be remembered from here all the way to September. I just remember listening to them individuals say, hey, I know you put Cinco de Crawford out there, but he's not fighting him in May. I say, damn, y'all petty, bro. Like, look at y'all. Listen to you. You're hyping up the fact that they're not fighting on May, but you're not even trying to say, hey, since they're not fighting in May, I hope it's a latter part of the 2025. Because I would love to see that fight. With the same energy that y'all had about Spence Crawford. When Crawford dropped out of negotiations in 22, y'all was like, oh, damn, I wanted to see that fight this year. I wanted to see that. Look at Crawford. He's going over there to Omaha to fight Avenue. They didn't say that about Canelo. They was just up here dropping me shit, talking about, oh, man, Cinco de Crawford, you made that shit for nothing. He ain't getting that fight in May. But what about September now? Rumor mill has it. It may be in September. See, I can't say Nelosexuals because it'll be cross-threading. It won't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? We need to come up with something like that deals with cinnamon. With a lisp. Cinnamon. You know what I'm saying? We need something with the lisp on it, shawty, with cinnamon. We frying red snapper. We coming to win. It's on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I think the fish fry was 101 for Errol Spence Jr. And shout out to Darren on deck. But you know, this is gonna be more of a pastry type of celebration. You know, when you get them hot cinnamon buns out the oven and that glaze, oh my God, bro. Come on, man. This is gonna be a pastry celebration. You know how they say like the icing on top? This win comes September. Oh my God, bro. It's gonna shut down boxing. It's gonna shut down boxing. When Canelo loses a decision to Crawford, and whoever it is behind the mic, I preferably be it Jim Gray. Well, Canelo, this is a long time coming. Did you believe that Crawford had what it take to pull out a decision against you? After everything that you said about, was the 150 million worth it? Blunt say even Canelo can't deny the Turkey dollars. He'll take another loss, but only the great fighters for a great price. Man, come on, man. Talk that talk that, bro. Even Canelo can't stay away from that purse. I heard Canelo was like getting 75 or something. Look, everybody is going to start the same shit they did with Spence Crawford. You know what it is. We was there. What were they doing? Oh, man, they go 55-45, 55-45. They agreed to everything. This, that, and I mean, everybody was acting like they was chief financial officers, bro. Unemployed life coaches, CPAs and shit. They was coming up, well, you know, Crawford, you know, you get this. And then he fought Madrimov. So I see you go in there with Crawford and Canelo. So the Crawford, you know, his boxing FICO went up just a little bit with Madrimov win, but he got hit too much. So we need to deduct that point, and we need to add interest on. We're gonna put him at like a 15.5% interest, this, that. And they're gonna sit up here and try to come up with all these shit to say what Crawford rate to fight Canelo. What about Canelo? What you think? Man, Canelo should get what he asking for. For real? So you think for a smaller fighter, 2 divisions below, that's easy. I'm talking about easy. He said it was easy work. He should get 150 million? Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, it's already out there, y'all. It's already out there. What does it have to do with the now? Crawford telling the world what Wikipedia says about him. It has something to do with my voice, my expression. That's what it has to do with it. It's called awareness. That's what it has to do with it. For those who's willing to listen, it's called awareness. Oh my God, I just went over all that. You know what I'm saying? I just went over all of that. Why are you telling me what he left? You know what I'm saying? Let's put that back up there, because I know a lot of people feel some type of way if I post her up there, but I wanna put this back up there and then place that right here, because Crawford has a very sly smirk on his face, like, yeah, nigga. I got you, nigga. You worrying about the wrong thing. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying, bro. You worrying about the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? This man about to get his highest payday. From what I heard, Crawford may get upwards of over 60 million. Ooh. Hey, I don't know. I'm not gonna do that, bro. I'm not gonna become an unemployed, unlicensed CFO and come out here with these bogus ass numbers. Yeah, you know. You know how I go, Neezy. Hey, you know how they be just straggling over here. What's this? They still got them fish crumbs out there. I'm in the right spot. Come on. This is it. This is it. These are the people who was having the fish fry. Let's go over there and show them some attention. Hey, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they mad because we eating expensive red snapper. Hey man, crispy. Crispy. You know what I'm saying? Crispy red snapper. Fresh. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we still celebrating that fish fry back in the day. That's all. That's all we doing. Don't be mad because we still celebrating, but we about to have what is called a pastry celebration. You know, glaze on top with a little cinnamon sprinkles. Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Yep. I mean, hey, you can say what you want. You know, I expect it. And look, it's January 13th, right? And people, you know, choose to select 13th because trichodecaphobia, and they want to come up here and show their face. The stragglers have rolled in. I get it. I'm not mad at you showing up and being Crawford haters. I'm not mad at all. I thank you for putting forth that energy in the first month of 2025 because this year is going to be historic for all the stragglers. Okay, this is going to be absolutely historic, yo. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to TGB in the building. Tough glove boxing on deck. What it do, fam? How you living? Hope all is good with you and the fam, bro. The News by Shaw News Sauce Experience on deck. What's good with it, bro? Team Tucker Fish on deck. Big Bud Crawford with the heavyweight hand size. Canelo don't sleep. Yeah, man. You know, at this point in time, Turki Alalshikh is saying, "Hey, I got plenty of punches for the haters out there when it comes to my guy Crawford." You know what I'm saying? I'm look, Turk saying I'm not in any weight class. I'm open division. I'm open to any division that the fighters that consider themselves the best to make the best, to make those top level fights. That's what I'm here for. I don't mind. You know, it was crazy to hear people saying, "Oh man, Devin going over there clout chase." Why, bro? Go where the money's at. If you're a fighter and you're over here boxing for pay, these fighters can't fight for free. So why are y'all up here talking the same thing about Crawford trying to get a retirement check? It makes no sense at all, yo. It makes no sense at all. When Crawford said he had a hedge fund willing to pay $20 million each up front to him and Spence, he probably was talking about Turkey. Yeah, Turkey was one of them, the TGB, which Al Heyman has said that he didn't want nobody else touching the fight. You're absolutely checking the box. You know what I'm saying? And Crawford even said himself that he glad he didn't take that and go the hedge fund route because it was a lot more fine details that had to be in place after that deal was made. They will have to get their money back first. Period. They will have to get their money back first. After the fight was over with, pay-per-view and all that shit, it would have had to go down like that. So you're absolutely right on that. These boxing fake fans turned content creators been bad for boxing business. Jealous online fans with platforms and opinions. Been programmed crash dummies. Well, we seeing that's gonna have to change one way or the other, bro. You know what I'm saying, Shaw News? They're gonna have to change it up because they can't stop the traction that's going on right now. Turki Alalshikh is doing. I mean, come on, man. Turki Alalshikh is smoking up the place for the right reasons. Shout out to Jamal Neezy with the $2 super chat. Once again, one love to you, brother. Appreciate you pulling up and supporting the channel monetarily. A blend of EJ and Nello fans. We must make a new name. We got to, bro. We got to. We got to. Real talk. Repost the numbers. It's the YTC YouTube Boxing Way. Make a fake chart. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? For real. They're going to come up here and talk about what's being paid, what isn't being paid, what should be paid. We don't know, man. We don't know. But hey, y'all, I'm just going to leave that up there because you can't stop it. You can't stop what's going. The shit is already on the tracks, bro. All we have to do is wait right now for the fights to play out on the schedule. 2025 is looking, live and living color. It's looking great for us right now. I mean, we have some cards, and not to mention, I haven't even mentioned one time about that other promotion / management team or whatever the case. I don't know where it's at right now with any other big fights, the layouts or whatever. But what I can say is this is something to look forward to. And instead of us waiting for years and years, 26, 27, this fight may potentially happen now. We can get it all over with. And it's gonna be a huge adrenaline dump after it's all over. Even a bigger adrenaline dump than Spence Crawford. This is on a whole nother level of epic. For real, this is the grandiose of all. Because there's so much doubters out there, and it's ones who out there that want to see the fight. It's both sides, man, who's flooding the airways with positive and negative media. But shout out to the hottest chat in the MFN game, man. Y'all hold it down. Continue to support. I'm out.